Welcome back to Flat Irons Tuning. We're here in the shop with the Pikes Peak car. As we're recording this, we are now 4 weeks out from Super Lap Battle in February at Circuit of the Americas. Before we dive into it, just want to say, if you like the content we're putting out, if you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a ton. And also, the best way to support this channel is to pass the word on. Share what we're doing here. Help get the word out about what we're doing, and hopefully more people will find the information that we're putting out and find it helpful and so on. All right, 4 weeks out from Super Lap Battle at CotA, and here's where we're at. Yokohama is the tire sponsor for Super Lap Battle, and normally we run Hoosier slicks. So we've had to find Yokohama tires, and we've got those in. We just need to get them mounted up. We could have run Hoosier slicks, but they would have automatically put us into an unlimited class, which, as happy as we are with this car, it's just not going to be competitive in unlimited. It's just not built for that. So we are going to run the Yokohama tires, which will allow us to run in the limited class, which is probably still like a good overreach for what this car is set up for currently. But we're looking at this year just to get out. We want to check out the event, see what the car does at the track, see what it's like to drive at the track. I'm sure it's going to be a great time, but we're using it as an evaluation year. So get out there, get a feel for everything, what works, what doesn't. Then we'll have a much better baseline to decide what we need to do to try and be more competitive next year. So that's our strategy for this year. I mentioned that we had made some changes to get the hood to shut, our nice carbon fiber hood with all the good venting. Well, that changes this charge pipe here. And seeing as how we have a plastic manifold and we have the hot pipe that runs right over it now, we want to insulate that pipe. We just want to make sure we're not going to cause any issues to the manifold or any of the other plastic or rubber bits that are around it, just with how we had to change the routing to make it so that we could actually shut the hood. So that shouldn't be too bad, but it's definitely something that we have to get taken care of. We do have a track day scheduled for early February. We're going to try and get the car out sooner than that, but just with schedules and whatnot, just wasn't in the cards. So we are going to shake the car down once before we go out to CotA. We had originally wanted to get out to the track a little bit earlier, just to give us a little bit more time, just in case something went haywire in testing to get the car ready. But we should be okay. We're not going to push it crazy hard. It shouldn't be too bad. So the last thing that we have done is we've actually done a reasonably significant change to the front suspension. We've been running the Wisefab knuckles for a long time, or for like the last few years, and we realized that we had run into an issue. No matter what we did, we could not get more than 2 degrees of negative camber up front, and that just was not really where we wanted to be with this car. We tried a lot of different stuff. We tried 2 different top hats. We ground a lot of material out of the top hats to try and get us more camber adjustment, and that nothing worked. 2 degrees was the best that we could possibly do. And what we realized is that the Wisefab knuckles have so much roll correction. They have 50 millimeters of roll correction compared to a stock knuckle. Now, we really liked all that roll correction. We liked all the caster that gave us, but we definitely saw signs that we were rolling over the outside tire too much up front in the turns. We're seeing a lot of signs of rollover, and just from wear in general on the tire, we were wearing the outside a lot more than we were wearing the inside. So that told us that we needed to get more negative camber. So what we realized might be going on with the negative camber issue had to do with the Wisefab knuckles we were running. And what we realized might be going on was that 50 millimeters of drop in the ball joint was pushing down the lower control arm so much that it was actually sucking the knuckle in towards the center of the car, which would then stand up the front strut, which would prevent us from having the camber adjustment that we were used to. Now, we really liked the performance that the Wisefab knuckles gave us, but, and so we weren't going to change anything, but then we found a ball joint that the ball joint itself offered a lot more roll correction than anything else we were previously aware of. So what we decided to try was to go back to a stock knuckle and then try this different ball joint that offered about 25 millimeters of roll correction instead of the 50. It's about half as much. But the hope was, well, if we can basically bring that ball joint back up and kind of get the lower control arm to move the knuckle back out again, maybe that would get us within our more expected range of camber adjustment. So that's what we've done. Scotty came in the other weekend and put on stock knuckles with these ball joints. And at the same time, you might notice we have changed the lower control arm. So this car started its life as a WRX, so we've always just used the WRX control arms just because we never got around to replacing them. And so what we decided to do is, well, since we're losing a little bit of the caster that we gained with those Wisefab knuckles, We decided to put these Super Pro control arms on because they're based around the STI lower control arms, which have more caster. Basically, they push the ball joint a little bit further forward than the WX ones do. And so with that, we might be able to pick up a little bit of the caster that we're losing by taking the Wisefab knuckles off and making this change. So that's what we're going to give a try. We have actually aligned the car now, and I can tell you that in this configuration now, we still have everything maxed out, but we're now sitting at about 4 degrees of negative camber instead of 2. So we've doubled the camber that we can get to. Ideally, we like to have a range probably between 4 and 5 degrees, but 4 degrees is way better than 2 degrees. And so now that's one of the big reasons we want to take the car back to the track. So we want to see what this 4-degree camber setting does up front, see what the car handles like now, you know, with this configuration compared to the Wisefab knuckles. Just kind of see what the car does, but that's pretty much it. 4 weeks seems like a lot of time, but man, the time just has a way of evaporating when an event is coming up. So that's pretty much all the big changes that we've got planned for this car. It's really just the shakedown and then kind of get ready and head out to the event in February. There's one other thing in the works. We actually have a package heading out overnight to Rally Spec today for them to take these bits and put them together and see if they can do that and get it back to us in time. And if that does happen and everything else goes well with the car, there's maybe one other change that we'll make. But otherwise, we're pretty happy with the car as it sits, and we just want to shake it down and then kind of just basically get ready for CotA. So that's where we're at. That is the latest and the greatest here with the Pikes Peak cars. We're getting ready to head out to Super Lap Battle. So thanks very much for watching. Really appreciate your support as always. And until next time, stay tuned with the Flat Irons Tuning.